in microservices structure, we are doing like this. UI, and then this is API, is called product, then login, same way, login, then order, then payment. Okay. So in that case, here you see the box, one box, inside one box, everything. And here we'll create multiple box. Multiple box is one server, individual server for individual services or API. So these boxes are a machine. If you use Amazon AWS, it will be a cloud server. If you use data center, it will be a separate server. Look, this is 4 server in microservices, and every services has its own DB. So you see the and now and microservices architect, here will be all our API, right? So here also those are APIs. So here API, all are API. These one also API. Okay, API. Okay, those are also API. So now user will request to the server. So normally there is a gateway API. So here is a gateway API. In gateway API, another API. This gateway, okay, just I'm saying gateway, you will understand, I think, because very hard to type. So UI call to this product service or anything here. So UI has to call the gateway, and gateway handle all those microservices. Gateway send the request. Suppose product service, gateway actually sending the request based on user request. So it will be sending here. And another thing, suppose user send it fast, so login will be coming. So gateway send it to login. When login successful, and they can talk each other. So login can talk product can talk login, then product can talk order can talk product. They're interconnected. Order can talk payment, and payment can talk to order. This kind of things in microservices structure. So in microservices structure, all API, all services are individual, actually sitting on the individual server, individual machine, and it has also its own database. But monolithic is one machine, all services in the same machine or same server, and there is only one database. So if anything change or anything broken, whole application will be broken. But in microservices, all service are individual. Product service are individual service, individual machine, individual database. Login service is totally independent machine, completely independent server. Order service is completely independent server. It has machine and it has database product. Then payment also independent server and independent machine, right? And it has its own database. So assume your products are order service is broken here. So that means your whole application will be broken, and you can actually you can access the application until you fix this problem. But here, if you think your order service is broken, it's not a problem. If your application will be if your order service is broken, your application will be up and running because your login service is good. That means you can log in. Then your product service is good. That means you can see the product, you can select a product. But whenever you click on order, you will get the error message, but your application is still there. Your application is not broken, right? You can access your all other microservices. And another benefit of microservices, if you need to update your product service, just do update in product service. Those services are untouched. You don't need to even test those services because those are independent and isolated. You didn't touch those things. So if you improve or if you enhance, implement some new stuff in the product service, just change this component or change this feature and launch the product service, relaunch the product service, then everything will be connected and everything will be working fine. This is called microservice architecture. I think you understand. Now, another thing, I will describe it very abstract level because we don't need to go in the depth. Recently, in the modern era, the application structure, there is another application structure is called AWS Lambda or Azure Lambda. So what is Lambda, right? In microservices, those are the real service, you see, real computer. Real computer. This box means real computer and it has database. So Lambda, another structure. So monolithic microservices and Lambda. So in the Lambda structure, what is this? I'm showing you. UI is there. Of course, UI is there. Then here is AWS structure, right? And Azure same thing. AWS. So in AWS, there is called API gateway, right? So in Lambda structure, UI actually calling to Lambda. Here is Lambda 1, Lambda 2, Lambda 3, Lambda 4, suppose, Lambda 4. So L, A1, L2, L3, L4. Those are the Lambda. What is Lambda? So in this Lambda, assume this Lambda is responsible for our product service. This Lambda is responsible for our login service. This Lambda is responsible for our order service. This Lambda is responsible for our payment service, right? But those are not the server like this, not in the microservice structure. This is microservice structure, right? Those are the server. This on server, this on server, this on server, this on server. In Lambda, instead of server, these are not the physical location. These are the method. Sorry, Lambda is a method. It's a function. These are the function. These are the real server. These are the real server. And all are server. Here is 4 server, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 machine. And those are physical machine. It has IP address, physical IP address, physical machine. It is not, deleted. But in the Lambda, these are the function, product function, then login function, order function, and payment function. Those are the not machine yet. Nothing, just function, piece of code. It is not taking any memory, nothing. So when UI request for a product, like here, suppose UI request here for a product. Whenever UI request through the gateway, through the AWS API gateway, so user has to, there is a link for the product Lambda, there is a link, right? So when user request a product, so it will be going to the Lambda service, Lambda function, not service. Whenever user requests to Lambda, this Lambda instantly create a service. That means create a machine plus with database. That's called a machine, right? With database, DB, and service or API, whatever, API, and like product API, product API, and this product API and this database will be in the machine in one server or separate server. So whenever user call this Lambda, product Lambda, instantly it will be creating these things. One machine, database, all those setup. Now it is a real machine. So, but it will be creating in the virtual machine. In the virtual machine, suppose Docker, if you know the Docker, like Docker kind of thing, container, right? Docker, like Docker as example. DOCL, right? Docker. So it will be creating a virtual machine in AWS. Temporary. Remember, it is a temporary virtual machine. So whenever you create a request for product in the Lambda to the Lambda in AWS, this product Lambda creating a server instantly with database and everything. Then it will be fulfilling all those user requests. Like user is looking for all products. Suppose user will be looking for all product. So whenever user click show all product, it will be going here, product Lambda, and product Lambda create this server, and database is already connected. So the database is already there. So it just connected to the database. So server is creating. Now UI coming here, requested here. Now actually the connection with UI is going to directly here. This connection is gone. Now we have server. So connection is here. And now it is like this, right? So connection is here in the product service. It is getting all the product from the database coming to here, all those product and all products going to UI. Then everything is fine. Whenever user get those data here, whenever user get this data, when user's purpose is fulfilled, then these will be deleted. These will be gone. You don't need to hold this server permanently. So that is the benefit of Lambda. So it creates server on demand. Then again, when user create user request for this one, like 0001, this service, then again user will be sending a request to product service. It will be creating a server and database server again, product service, then returning to data to the user and delete it completely. So in Lambda structure, there is no real application, real server is holding permanently. Real server will be creating on demand basis when user or UI request for a service. This request goes to the Lambda. Lambda means a function, and this function has a code, all code, and this Lambda function create this machine, real server in cloud. So whenever the request purpose is fulfilled and return the data, return the request, return the response to the user, this is done. Its purpose is done and it is automatically deleted. That means you don't need any memory, any cost, nothing. You don't need to rent to AWS for your live server. So because this Lambda are only function, only code, you don't need to pay to Amazon. That's why lots of company these days is moving to this kind of structure, Lambda structure. Got it? So that's it. If you understand these three things, monolithic here, no one server, and in microservices, all services are independent machine server. and all services as database. In Lambda, there is no physical server. All are functions. So function create on-demand server. When purpose is fulfilled, this server is deleted. If you understand the three things, 99% or all application structure you will be understanding. So I just describe you a very abstract level so that everybody will understand. So if you are more interested for this kind of application architect things, you can watch my video. There is one video called Microservices, or you can do Google AI things, Chat GPT, lots of things. But it is the best point to understand. So now I think you can go further by yourself. But for our application structure, for our tutorial, this level is more than enough. So now come to the structure. So you understand now. So we have UI here, the first part UI. Then we have API here, API here. Second part, this is API, no user interface, and we have database here. And our DB is here, this three part. So DB, our database, this is our API, and this is our UI, localhost. This is our UI. So UI, again, I'm showing so that you never confused API and here DB. These three part we have. So today, I need, because this video is going to very big. So today I finished actually here, application walkthrough. And I think we cover also what is API and application architecture and microservices. Yeah. So in next class, we will be going through other parts. So I think you enjoy the class and you understand the topic we discussed. Thank you so much. See you in the next class. Bye.